people are so afraid that once the trees grow,
Forest
they will
declare.
not be able to transact the property
Yes.
because forest will not let them cut it. And that was a trigger point for me. How come the laws are preventing people from doing the right thing? Ten days later, 40 more people showed up. We heard that jobs are being distributed here. We are also available. Hire us. And that day also, I was having that extra chai with extra shot. So I said, "ठीक है, आ जाओ."
सर आप जब ये चाय पी रहे होते हो ना मैं भी आना चाहता हूँ एक दिन.
Today, we have grown to approximately around 2,000 acres now.
Wow.
And how we have gone from 4 to 2,000, we will, the stories will unfold
Yes.
during our conversation.
Yes. Pravin Bhagwat spent decades in the corporate world, building complex systems, scaling teams, delivering with precision and discipline. He knows how to make things work. But real change began with a simple desire to grow his own clean food, to reconnect with the land. He started with just 3 acres, no grand vision, just soil, seasons, and pure intent. Instead of machines, he chose people. Instead of extraction, he chose restoration. Land became livelihood, and the forest began to grow. Alongside skills, income, dignity, and pride. As locals planted and protected trees every day, something deeper shifted. Trees stopped being invisible. They became familiar, valued, personal. From creating community and corporate groves to giving someone the gift of a forest, a living legacy over something disposable, 14 Trees enables people to nurture a collective memory rooted in soil and time. Today, 14 Trees employs over 300 people and manages more than 2,000 acres under restoration. Pravin doesn't think of 14 Trees as just a restoration effort, but an open source platform where anyone who wants to work with the environment can simply plug in, find their community, find support, and build for a brighter future. I'm Swapnil Rao, and this is The Root Cause. Today we have with us the one and only Pravin Bhagwat from the 14 Trees Foundation. After an illustrious corporate career, actually he's a true blood entrepreneur. He was part of the team that founded the Wi-Fi protocol, believe it or not. He did a lot of other experiments with telephony and telephonic connectivity. I've heard somewhere that you also did some prototype, which was early days for 5G or something of that sort.
Yeah, generally we in the area of wireless
Wireless
networking,
telecommunications.
and started in that area before internet happened. So I've sort of
Brought in
walked
the
journey,
internet.
walked the journey of as the internet evolved.
Yeah, yeah. So have we,
So-
and then he had a long stint with Mojo Networks, and after which, thankfully for us, for the planet, for all life, a mind like this has decided to plant forests. It's my honor, it's my privilege, and I'm so delighted to welcome Pravin on Root Cause. Thank you so much for taking the time, Pravin.
Well, welcome to 14 Trees.
I am stoked. I am flabbergasted. I am overwhelmed. I feel so good after coming here. We are actually in the hot afternoon time, but we are so comfortable and so cozy. This is an ecosystemic service that we enjoy for free. Actually, not free, it's Pravin's hard work of 10 years, Pravin and the team's hard work of 10 years that has brought us in this direction. But I'd like to open it up, Pravin.
Sure.
I really look up to this guy called Josh Waitzkin.
Okay.
He was a chess prodigy, became a grandmaster at 13. Something happened. There was a big Hollywood movie that was made on him. Suddenly he got too much attention, got to his head. he decided to give up chess at the peak of his career and got into martial arts. Then went on to become a grand champion, world champion in martial arts. Gave up martial arts, took up surfing, went on to become a world champion in surfing. And this guy has written a book called The Art of Learning. And the most fascinating part of that is he says, if you learn the first principles of anything, how to build something from ground up and bring it to excellence, and if you are able to transfer that expertise into something else and become world class at that, that is the fun of life. So he took his chess moves, he took his chess strategy, applied it to martial art, which made him a world champion in martial art. My question to you is, I can call you sort of an A-lister in the entrepreneurship field. You've had your share of success. You've had your share of wins, and now you have brought that mind into plantation and growing forests. So let's begin there strategically. How did you attack this? We'll start with the how, then we'll go to the what it is, and then we'll go why you did this.
See, it's actually not as, you know, glorious as you're kind of portraying it.
Sure.
I see myself as just a curious mind. From the childhood days, I used to like solving math problems. And I used to derive fun and joy out of cracking puzzles and solving. So I never used to look for solutions. I used to try to see, can I arrive at the solution myself? And I used to spend days kind of thinking about the problems.
Really?
And I sort of learned the joy of arriving at an answer on your own. And since then, I've just been sort of applying that curiosity to different domains. So when I was working in wireless communication, I was just curious and trying to experiment and think of new ways of doing things. And as you age, your interest in life change. So there came a point where I became more interested and drawn towards nature, conservation, ecology. In fact, I would say I always felt a draw towards that domain. And technology for me was a means to get there someday. It happened a bit too late, in my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah.
And but here I am, and I am actually also seeing it as a complex problem. And I'm trying to arrive at solutions through experimentation. So that has been my habit, not to look for solutions in literature, but rather create your own lab. You mix
Tinker
things,
around.
tinker around, and make mistakes and learn from it. So that's what we are doing. And we have had our share of successes and our share of failures. But the journey is super exciting, and I'm just enjoying it. That's it. It's as simple as that. No other grand vision or anything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But if to a layman,
Yes.
he has to engage with something like this.
Yes, yes.
You were also kind of a layman in the ecological sphere. You had
Absolutely,
no prior experience. You had a lot of corporate experience, but you didn't know anything about
Right.
plantations and forests and ecosystems, and there was no formal study per se.
Yes.
So how did you approach it? What was your, for example, let's simplify it.
Yes.
Like what was step 1, step 2, step 3? How did you go about it?
See, the process was that I realized that you need to have some piece of land to be able to do your
something.
tinkering. So I was searching for some land near Pune. And I was running a tech company at that time as a CTO. So it was an all-consuming kind of a job. And luckily, what I realized, once you have a strong desire to do something, somehow paths open up. So Anant, who used to work for me at that time, was a young man, and he was, I noticed that this guy is very smart, very diligent and go-getter. And he came from an agriculture background. So I told him, while I am traveling to US and doing conferences, why don't you go and search for land? So that's how the land search started. And every time I used to return from US, he used to show me, I found this plot here, this plot here. So our weekend activity was to go see the places. And that activity continued for about 3 years because nothing clicked. I mean, you see a 1 acre patch of land in the middle of a township where, some high-rise building is going to come, no point in taking this piece of land.
Correct.
Or you go to Konkan where there's a lot of land, but it's so far that you cannot really do anything there. So my sweet spot was to find some land which is roughly about 40, 50 kilometers from Pune, because that you can do a day trip. But very quickly I realized that there is nothing within 50 kilometer radius of Pune. It's all, the town is going to grow and fill that area up. So you have to go beyond that radius. So the search expanded to 60 kilometers, 70 kilometers. And luckily, 2013, we found this patch of 4-acre land, and this became our lab to sort of start tinkering and learning. The initial vision was very different. Initial vision was I wanted to grow vegetables so that I can,
grow your own food.
Grow your own food and, eat, put the food on the table which is not toxic, not grown with fertilizer. And it will be nice to have your own land where you grow it and bring it.
That's the only sure way of having chemical-free food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so I saw this land in September 2012. And that time it was monsoon, it was all lush green, water was flowing.
Oh,
I said,
it's beautiful.
It took 6 months to transact the land. And after the transaction, when I came here, there was not a drop of water. It was all dry, grass, nothing. So the water became the first challenge. So again, like a puzzle, we said, let's try to understand how to bring water. So we said, well, let's dig a well. Actually, interestingly, I have seen wells when I was a young kid.
Yes.
I never understood actually where the water actually comes from, because well has water, right? So the first time I observed the process of well digging, and the digging was going on and so on, and we were anxiously waiting to see water, which never came. So after 55 feet of digging, we had to stop because the bills were going up and there was no water to be seen. So that's when our neighbor told us, there is no groundwater here. Why are you wasting your time and energy? But we thought, maybe we selected a spot which was wrong. So let's try again.
How did you select the spot? Did you bring the panadi?
So actually, I never had, coming from a pure science background.
Panadi is a diviner.
Yes. I could never believe how can a panadi kind of find the water.
Hang on, do you believe now?
Actually, we have never used one.
I see. Okay.
And the story is kind of very funny of how we decided to dig on that spot. So this was a completely barren patch of land. But there was one neem tree there.
Okay.
And in the month of March, I noticed there's a lone neem tree here and it is green. So there must be water underneath it. So we said, cut this tree and, dig it. And we kept digging, there was no water there. And then I met Ketki and I told her this story. She said, neem to zhad hirvadasta nehmi.
Exactly, it's an arid climate tree. It's the only thing that survives.
I thought because it is green, it must be water there. So I was that clueless basically when I started. I didn't understand what is a deciduous tree, or why some trees look green or some look brown, nothing. So then someone said, maybe you are digging in a spot which has got rocks in it. Maybe try somewhere there's some murum. So we found an adjacent spot. There was murum in it. So we said, dig here. Dug it again no water. And then we tried a bore well, and again 220 feet of depth, no water. So that's when I got convinced that actually there is no groundwater here, really.
This is an entrepreneurial, lean startup model where you're rapid prototyping. And you're trying something well, fail, pond, fail, bore, fail.
Yes.
Right?
And then in search of collecting the rainwater, we created a fourth pond in hope of collecting the rainwater. So we succeeded in stopping the water, but we realized that it's not able to hold it. It just percolates down. So at that time, the choice was either put some plastic sheets or put a layer of cement to hold the water, and we said no to that. Because somehow the idea of bringing in plastic and cement to create water source didn't appeal to me. So I said, well, just leave it like that.
Can I pause you for a second?
Yes.
Where did this intuition come from?
Yeah, actually,
It just felt wrong, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think cement and plastic, these are sort of our creations. And they don't naturally belong in the nature.
Also, end of life is very bad.
And secondly, the amount of carbon emission you sort of create to create those materials and so on. So we just wanted to see how can we use natural methods to restore life here. So that's why I said no to that. And at that point, I got very busy with the company I was running. So sort of ignored this project, abandoned it. And then 3 years later, we realized that that percolation pond we had accidentally dug
Is staying filled.
is, collecting rainwater and putting that water in the ground. So in a typical rainy season, 15, 16 ponds worth of water is going in the ground. So 3 years later, we noticed that the water is coming back in the holes which were dry earlier. And that's when we realized that, the ground level is rising. And then we went berserk. Just find a spot and just dig it.
Can I tell you a story of how we dug our well? So it was just two people, and we chose a spot where there used to be a well. We bought our piece of land. In 15 days, there was an episodic rainfall event. 23 inches of rainfall in 2 hours. Our land, and there was a micro earthquake. Land became in pieces. We lost both our wells. We went back 12, 15 years. We had two people helping us. We told them, start digging a hole because we didn't know what else to do. No roads, nothing else is happening. They started digging a hole. You won't believe it, Pravin. 20, 25 days in, this guy comes with some moist mud in his hand, says, Pani lagla. And me and Brunmai were in tears because that starts everything. Where there's water, there's
without
life.
water, basically nothing.
Without water, you can't do anything. So that was my experience. It's phenomenal feeling. It gives you tremendous energy and sort of a confidence boost to get going.
So interestingly, 2016 is when we saw the first sign of water from the in the holes that we had created. So the plantation we started in that year. And it's a different story that that plantation got completely burnt. The first plantation that we did. Another episode happened which destroyed everything. We did another plantation in 2017.
This episode is natural or man-made?
No, man-made, man-made. The fire in this entire area is all man-made.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's Vanua basically.
So basically our neighbor, he burns his land every year. He started the fire and it completely engulfed our plot and everything was gone.
Yeah.
And so 2016-17 onwards, we have planted, we have been watering those saplings diligently every week from the water source that was created. So the 5 workers were involved in that activity around the year.
5 acres, 5 workers.
Yes. 4 acres, 5
4
workers.
5 workers manually watering
Manually watering saplings. And sort of we were giving them work throughout the year because we wanted to create a sustained long-term employment for them rather than a contractual job for a few days. And what you see today is basically what this land has turned into. So after this sort of, I would say, success, the ambition grew that, fine, so we got lucked out here. Can we expand? Can we do this experiment beyond 4 acres? Can we do it in 10 acres, 50 acres, 100, 1,000 maybe? And today we have grown to approximately around 2,000 acres now.
Wow.
And how we have gone from 4 to 2,000, we will, the stories will unfold during our conversation.
Yes, absolutely. So is this is very interesting because now I'm looking at it conceptually.
Yes.
So we are scaling.
Yes.
We created a proof of concept at 4. We tinkered around with it. We learned, we failed, we did a lot of things. These were relatively inexpensive mistakes because if we would have started with 1,000 acres,
we would have never had courage to start.
We couldn't have sort of gone ahead. Yes. So the first lesson is start small, fail fast. If you unfortunately fail and get to something that works. You have to expect
failures. Failures are bound to happen.
Correct.
You just have to stay put and sort of be at it.
Correct.
And,
And what was the thinking behind it before we go further? How did you start to plan it?
actually, interesting thing is that this project is not growing out of a very systematic plan. It is just organically growing.
Mhm.
Like,
Like an
vegetation
organism,
grows. Yeah.
like a family, like
It's
a
like an
culture.
organism which is just growing. And there has never been a kind of a
Master plan.
master plan or mission statement. In fact, series of incidents have happened
Mhm.
along the way,
Mhm.
which have shaped the trajectory of this project.
I see.
And interesting individuals
Mm.
have shown up
Mm.
in the
Mix.
in the mix in the storyboard, which are shaping the journey from this point onwards as well. So exactly where we will go and what we'll end up doing, we don't know. It's an ongoing journey.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you think were there times when you thought there should have been a master plan?
Actually, I don't think so. Because
Is there a house where a road should have been? Is there a toilet where a garden should have been? Is
no,
there
no, no. I think, everything has evolved one small step at a time. So place where we are, sitting right now, we felt a need to have something like this. So we created it. So it's everything is just happening organically. We've never had a second thought about anything that we've done. It's a very organic. All the shapes are organic.
Mhm.
All the spaces are organic. See, if you had taken an architect and asked the architect to create a master plan, the place would not have looked like this at all. Because we are creating things which fit
You
into the
see a
landscape.
corner and then you fill it.
And
Just
you
like
feel a
nature
need. You
does,
feel a
right?
need.
You
You feel a
you are
need,
filling
and then
niches.
you sort of create that thing there. So it's very organic.
What are the fundamentals to have the power to design like this? You need people. You need money. You need. For example, I'm seeing the finishing of the things. The restrooms are quite like city class.
And
So
everything is done by the workers here. We have
that's.
not brought any. So this has been a training ground for them
Mm.
to upskill their whatever they know. The bridge that you see here, everything is just built by people here.
So how are you attracting them? What's bringing them here? Why are they working with you rather than working for some other one
So
nearby?
it's a very interesting story. As I told you, initially there were about 5 people
Hmm.
who were part of this project.
Hmm.
And then 2020 year is when COVID happened,
Barobar.
right?
Hmm.
So after 2 weeks at home, I realized that I have a tent in my apartment. I would rather be living here
100%.
rather than, spending my time in the apartment.
Yeah.
So one fine morning at 4 a.m., in the middle of the curfew,
You snuck out.
I snuck out and came here with my tent. And I started living here.
Hmm.
So I used to go for a morning walk and breathe fresh air.
Hmm.
And these 5 guys were coming and working because the farm sector was exempt
Yes.
from lockdown.
You need food.
So one day, 40 workers showed up on our doorstep. These are the friends of the 5 guys who are working with us. Because they told them that the work is happening here.
And they're getting paid basically.
And they said, can you employ us while the lockdown is going on? So I thought, 40 guys asking for work. And I'm seeing so much of barren land around me. I can put them to work. And it's a matter of taking a risk for employing them for 2 months, maybe. Lockdown will be over in third month. And probably that day I had a chai with some extra sugar. So I said, "Theek hai, aa jao." You are hired.
That's the entrepreneur in you thinking.
So we employed 40 people.
And at this time, you don't know what work you're going to give them.
No, but I saw so much of barren land lying around here. So I said, I'll put them to work. You dig pits and plant trees. Who will stop us? Because it's all barren land. We'll plant. And we are doing it for free for them. So why will anybody stop us?
Correct.
It's too naive.
Exactly. Exactly.
And when the work started, that's when the demons came out. That, this is our land. You can't do it. I said, people are burning your land and I'm saving it. I'm planting it for free. He said, no, you can't do it. And the reason is, people are so afraid that once the trees grow,
Forest
they will
declare.
not be able to transact the property
Yes.
because forest will not let them cut it. And that was a trigger point for me, how come the laws are preventing people from doing the right thing?
Such an interesting segue also, but yes.
I sort of started getting a deeper appreciation for why things are not happening the way we want.
Mhm.
Because somehow the system that we are living in
It
is
does.
not incentivizing people to do the right
Absolutely.
thing. While this story was unfolding, 10 days later, 40 more people showed up. We heard that jobs are being distributed here. We are also available. Hire us. And that day also, I was having that extra chai with extra shot. So I said, ठीक है, आ जाओ.
सर आप जब ये चाय पी रहे होते हो ना मैं भी आना चाहता हूँ एक दिन.
So we grew from 5 to 85 in a matter of 3 weeks. And this is when I was living in a tent here in COVID. Then it became an interesting entrepreneurial problem that I see so much of land here lying barren. People are ready to work. And we want to do the right thing. Why can't we do it? And then the reality hit me because the COVID lockdown was just going on and on. So what I thought will be over in 2 months, it just kept dragging. And once the payroll starts,
Yeah.
nobody wants to let go of
It's
that.
become a cash flow problem now.
So it occurred to me that I can't keep running this show as a sort of my self-funded project.
Yeah.
So I was forced to incorporate an NGO in the middle of COVID time because I realized I got to raise funds for this. So June 2020 is when I applied for registration of a Section 8 company because I saw I got to run the payroll of these 85 guys. So this was not the plan. This just happened.
This is amazing. It's a beautiful accident. Okay.
And then the journey began that the lockdown kept extending and more people kept coming. And that's when I realized that land is available, people are available, finance can be arranged if you can reach out to the right
You
people.
had the credibility, so you could pull some funds.
But even with that, it was so difficult to execute because of the systemic barriers. Because if you don't own the landowners don't trust you.
Yes.
And hence they won't let you do what you want to do.
Oh, 100%.
So luckily, I came to know that there's a 200-acre piece of land here owned by somebody who lives in Pune. And so it occurred to me, the only way out is to somehow buy that land. So the entrepreneurial in me kind of awoke.
You're kind of a maverick cowboy.
Because if you have to do this, you have to buy the land. There's no other way you're going to get the permission to do it.
Okay.
So then it became a problem. How do you generate resources? How do you bring the finance and do this transaction when the COVID is going on while these people are looking for jobs? And luckily, we also found a contractor who does a lot of, well digging, tunnel digging kind of work. And because of COVID, he was out of job. And he begged that, give me some work.
Man, you've milked that COVID
So
tailwind
so we said, just get started. And we had that success of this experiment behind us. So just dig ponds. So throughout the COVID era, we dug 84 ponds in this area and put these guys to work. And then my mission became, how do I sort of keep the show going? And I realized that if I unplug at this point and go back to the company where I was running, there's no way this project is going to go forward. So I was sort of.
Oh, you're still part of Mojo Network.
Yes,
that
yes,
whole
yes.
thing is
Yes.
going on. So you're on
I
video
got
calls the whole day, and you're juggling
so
everything.
I said I got to go for a sabbatical. So I applied for a sabbatical. There's
yeah,
no way.
there's no way.
No way I can
There's
do
no
this.
way. Yeah.
So first it was a 1-year sabbatical. Then it became a 2-year. Now I'm a 6th year. And this, so at a macro level, this became a very fascinating problem puzzle to solve. That how do you connect the dots to do what you believe is the right thing to do? And I realized at some point that it was more difficult than the tech company I was running earlier. And the complexity of it is what kind of drew me more into it.
Yeah, it's
So
a
I've
wicked
got
problem.
sucked into it.
It's a wicked problem.
And I'm still attempting it with that similar problem-solving spirit.
That's the only way. I think it's
Yeah.
you have to look at it like a game.
And it's a very fascinating game, actually. It's a very fascinating game.
It is.
And that game is opening up a new dimensions in my life. Earlier, I was limited to interacting with techies only. Now I am interacting with artists, designers, people like yourself, movie makers, I mean, all kinds of people, right? And it's so much richer
Yeah.
interactions
Yeah.
that I am learning. So it was not planned. There was no grand plan, and there is still no grand plan, as I said. It's just happening through
It's a creative
interactions.
process.
It's a creative process, and it's shaping up. But we are seeing a potential great possibility ahead. That if it can happen here on 4 acres, on 100 acres, 200 acres, now 2,000 acres, it can also happen over 2 million acres and maybe 200 million acres. Why not?
Yeah. And I think India has about 250 million acres of wasteland, so-called degraded wasteland.
Yeah, sort of where the ecology degradation has happened.
Yes.
And if you can restore it and generate jobs in the process, it's like a, क्या बोलते हैं ना, चिट भी मेरा, पट भी मेरा.
Yes. Win, win, win.
Win-win. So why not do it?
Everyone wins.
Why not do it?
खाली GDP नहीं बढ़ेगा शायद.
So we'll come back to that later.
चलो ठीक है.
We'll
ठीक
come
है.
back to you.
Is there a Google Earth footage of these ponds being dug and the greenery expanding? I think it's an effort worth
Yeah, there is.
making. There is.
You can spend some time on Google Earth and go back in time and see the changes.
So we can do like a video like that, and it's going to be worth
And
seeing.
we could not sit here if you were back in 2000.
Of course, it would be scorching hot.
Scorching hot at this time.
That's amazing. I'm amazed.
But we will go to a spot where it is scorching hot.
I think we
now.
should. I think let's start
Yes,
going around
yes,
the place.
Absolutely.
and
I think the
see
real
as we-
stories will come out as we walk,
around.
through the terrain.
Is there anything strategic, anything other that's strategic? How did you fundraise, by the way? That's one thing we can take here.
So it's a crowd-funded project, actually.
Okay. Did you use any platforms? I'm sorry, I'm going in the details, but if someone else wants to replicate something like this,
No, I think
Word of mouth.
everything is homegrown and very organic.
So friends and family first, and then goes on to a broader.
See, just like I am a little bit of maverick in some of the things I do, I have fortunately some maverick friends also. And so they said, if you want to do this, just go ahead and do it. Don't worry, we are here to sort of
That's what you need.
cover your back. Yes. So I think I have been very lucky, I would say, to sort of be at the right place at the right time at many times in my life,
luck
and
favors the
have the
bold,
right
yeah.
set of people around me who given me the safety net. And safety net, I think many times you don't really need a physical safety net. You need a psychological safety net.
Absolutely.
So good news is that I never had to tap into their help until now. But the
family was on-
psychological
yeah.
help is so powerful.
Yes.
I know if I fall, they'll catch me.
That's the most important.
Yeah.
And family was always on board. They were okay with this.
So family has, I think, given up. They know they married a madman. But yeah, I have had great, very, very supportive family. My wife has, I would say, hasn't lost her patience yet, letting me do what I enjoy doing. And likewise, both of my daughters, they are very supportive. In fact, they are one of the core
Cheerleaders,
contributors
yes.
into the process. So I think I have lucky very much on
Also,
that
a
front.
beautiful way for the family to come together. Also, no.
Yeah.
In a situation like this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've always enjoyed going to national parks, going
There you
into
go.
nature.
You are making your own national
And here
park
we are
now.
making our own. So in fact, I would say the journey of making is more exciting
Yes.
than going into a space which is pristine for millions of years.
Yes.
Because here you have a higher sense of satisfaction of at least adding that value.
Yes. And agency also.
Yeah.
You are touching things. You are engaging with things.
Yeah.
You are an actor in the game. You are just not like a passive observer.
Definitely.
You're just not
definitely.
enjoying it passively.
So the journey is certainly very. And in fact, we want more people to experience that.
Absolutely.
So in fact, to answer your question about fundraising, we have offered an opportunity to many people to come and experience this. And they have voluntarily contributed and supported the project. We have never asked for money. So just as the workforce came on its own, the land came on its own, funding has also come on its own. We have never done fundraising.
Let's take a walk.
Sure.
मजा आएगा. चलो.
This area that you are seeing around you, this is how the land looks after, say, 10 plus years of restoration. Now we are going to walk 20 feet in this direction, go into another plot where the restoration work started 4 years ago.
Okay.
So you will see the stark difference between 10 years and 4 years.
How far is this? 20 feet?
Just 20 feet.
Okay.
ठीक है?
Okay.
And through the trek today, we are going to go through different spots which represents a different point in time of the restoration.
Okay.
So we will see some plots which are completely barren, no work has started. We will see spots where 2 years of work has gone in, 4 years of work has gone in, 6 years of work has gone in, and here 10 years of work has gone in. Okay? So you will sort of see across the timeline of how the process kind of evolves.
Sure.
So in one day, we will walk across 10 years.
Sure.
In some sense. Okay?
Sure.
So let's go in here. Difference between 10 and 4 years. As we walk through the trails today, I will tell you about stories which are embedded in that space.
Right.
Because I actually see this forest which is evolving as a collection of stories. Because something interesting has happened in each plot, in each pond.
I'm sure.
And for example, this land, it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to a neighbor who's a farmer.
It still belongs to the neighbor?
Still belongs to the neighbor.
I see.
And the story is that, as you can see, this land is not a cultivable land. So the only thing that you can do here is to grow grass and graze animals.
Correct.
So it's a grazing plot of the neighbor. And as is the tradition in the pharma sector today, in the agriculture sector, that after the grazing season is over, people burn the land.
Yes, so that the
to
grass
clear
comes
the land
back
so that
faster.
the grass comes back faster and all the competing species die.
Correct.
Right? So there is a very legit reason behind it.
Yes, so that
To
succession
increase-
doesn't happen technically.
Succession doesn't happen and you get more yield of the grass.
Correct.
Okay? And that is the practice that he has been doing. Now the problem is in year 2016, we took so much effort to plant trees in our plot and this guy burned the land and our entire land got burnt. And he says, look, it's not my problem. I mean, you are a foreign entity who's come here. I've been doing this for years. Nothing wrong in what I'm doing. If you have to protect your land, you have to protect your land. I can't do anything. We incentivized him, we will plant fruit trees in your land. Why don't you stop this? And he said, no, there's a legit reason why I'm doing it. I can't do it. So it was a constant struggle that he is burning and we are trying to stop the fire from spreading into our land. And we knew this is going to happen every year. So we kept persuading him. And finally, we had a breakthrough in year 2018, where he said, okay, I will inform you when I'm burning. So at least you can make preparations.
Do fire lines and
Previously,
stuff like
he
that.
used to just burn at random time, we didn't even know.
Yeah.
Right? So what we used to do, whenever he used to tell, I'm going to burn, we used to put an army of 40 people on the
Who
fence
will
and
blow
just
it out,
douse the fire to
Zade
stop
again.
the fire from
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
But then something interesting happened. As I showed you, the barren land where we have planted fruit trees and we were getting the yield of avras, we are getting the yield of peru, mangoes, and there was nothing happening on his land. So 2020 Jan, he said, look, you have been pushing us, pursuing us, so do whatever you want. I'll give you my land, you plant whatever you want. So he said, we will plant all the fruit trees in your land, provided you stop burning. And he agreed. But in exchange, we hired his tractor as an incentive mechanism. So his tractor got deployed in our project. So he had some source of
economic
revenue
incentive coming in. Correct.
When he aligned, a lot of other people said, "Hamare paas bhi barren land hai. Why don't you take our land also?" So suddenly the land supply started increasing.
And for them, this is padig zameen.
Yes.
For them,
There is no real value
economic input out of it. Yeah.
So interesting story is I planted around 750 trees that time in this plot. A month later, I went to IIT Kanpur to give a talk on wireless security of the company that I was running. And after the talk, I was talking to faculty members there, and one of the faculty members commented that year 2020 is the year institute is celebrating its diamond jubilee. So I said, there are so many professors who have been part of the journey of making this institute great. Can I get a list of those faculty members? So I started scraping names from the website and collect the list of professors who have been part of the institute journey. And magically, that list had around 750 names.
Oh.
So interesting coincidence. 750 trees planted here, 750 names. So I said, let me map those names to these trees. So this plot of land
Is
if you
IIT
come with us,
Kanpur
is an IIT
professors.
Kanpur faculty grove. And this grove is standing on a farmer's land who was earlier burning the land. Now he has stopped. And because he has stopped, this entire forest above this line is protected.
Yes.
So when you came into this site today morning and you saw the stark difference between the hills surrounding area versus this hill, because at the core of it, the place where the fire used to start, now stands
You've solved
the
it.
IIT Kanpur faculty grove. So now we will go up
Sure.
the trek and get in the vehicle and then go up the top of the hill,
Sure.
which is where the real
Yeah.
action
Yeah.
is going to unfold. Tarapan, now we are in this completely empty patch of land. The interesting location of this place is, if I go 25 kilometers as the crow flies in this direction, you will reach Bhimashankar forest.
Acha.
So the locals here tell us that if you go back in the history 70, 80, 100 years ago, this patch was a forested patch starting from Bhimashankar all the way up to these hills.
Even the crown, all this was
Yes.
forest.
It was a forested land, dry deciduous forest.
Yeah.
So deforestation happened here. And then the land use turned from forest to grazing land.
Correct.
And then the cycle of burning started. So every year, this entire area is burnt. And that cycle has been going on for the last 60, 70 years. As a result, the topsoil has started eroding. And I don't know, this is an anecdotal statement or this is a fact, I don't know, but some people tell us that these rocks were not visible 20 years ago. So some layer of soil has got chipped away and kind of gone down the hill. So some erosion has happened. And there's hardly 3-4 inches of soil left here.
Yes, I can see it.
So the problem here is if you want to bring it back to its original glory, there is hardly any soil left. Now, I told you the story of water, of how we brought water in that valley area, but that technique is not going to work here. Because there is nothing from where you can percolate the water and recharge the ground. There is all solid rock beneath it.
Yes.
So you cannot bring water through that technique.
You have to come from below.
That means you have to lay pipelines and kind of lift the water, which doesn't sound very exciting.
Yes.
And then, even if you solve the water problem, the grazing continues and burning continues. So no soil, no water, grazing and burning. Against these 4 odds, how are you going to kind of bring the place to its original form? So this problem became more and more clear to me when during COVID time I used to come and do sort of walks in this area to kind of imagine what the forest here looked like and what will it take to bring it back. But the first problem you have to solve is that of water.
Always.
So we started experimenting. And I'll show you the result of one of the experiments. So on the top of this hill, how do you bring water? Let's come and see.
Let's go.
On top of this completely barren hill, you have this 30 feet by 30 feet deep pond. You can see you have 26 feet of water filled in here. So we have created this hole in the ground by scooping out the rocks. And we got lucky that there are no cracks here. So the water is held. If there was a crack, then this would have become a percolation pond.
Correct.
So what we are doing is we are just digging ponds without knowing whether it will hold water or not. If you get lucky, it becomes a storage pond. And if we get lucky, it becomes a percolation pond.
pit.
But the point is the investment
Correct.
never goes bad.
Also, you look at the quality of grass just around,
Just-
and you look at the contrast beyond, and
Exactly.
you see what a little bit of
Changes.
moisture.
And
is a long way.
interestingly, you can find some fish in this pond. And the question is, where did the fish come from?
Oh, they come.
So they come automatically.
You build it and nature comes. That's what. That's
So
what the
every
saying
5
is.
acre, we have a pond like this.
I see.
And this is the budget within which we have to somehow maintain the trees that we are planting in the 5 acres. So every 5 acres, there are 200 acres, there are 42 ponds of this sort sprinkled through this terrain. And we are going to see a couple of them during our walk today.
Super inviting.
So if you brought your swimming trunks, we can take
Yeah,
a
we
dip.
could have jumped in.
Yeah.
But is there, tell me, so someone manually takes buckets of water and goes and waters
That
the
is how we
trees?
started. When we had this excess labor force, we told them to do watering by manual methods. Now we are starting to install solar pumps. Our philosophy is again the same. Minimize the amount of external
Technology.
things you are bringing
Yes.
in here.
Yes, correct.
So whatever rainfall this land has,
Yeah.
whatever sunlight energy that is incident on this land, use that
Yes.
to do whatever restoration that you want.
Beautiful.
So again, on the time scale, this is how the land looks before we start. So we have done no intervention here.
Correct.
Down in the base camp, I showed you a before picture.
Yes.
Here we have deliberately not taken any picture because it's the real deal.
Yes.
And now you will see how this land transforms over 4 years, 5 years.
Maybe
6
we do a
years.
round 2 of this podcast and we'll get to see a forest here.
So actually, water is the key to beginning restoration. And as I showed you earlier, every 5 acre we have created a pond which is holding rainwater. And this is the water which was earlier just going down the hill and not getting absorbed in the ground. So we have created these pond-like structures. You can see actually one pond right here.
Yeah.
Today is 19th of November and we have close to around 28 feet of water in this hole. So this is the budget within which we have to survive the entire year. And we are going to use this water very, very carefully. Calculated amount given to different saplings that we are planting.
Just to clarify, he means water budget.
Water budget.
Not monetary budget. Water is a very precious resource. Budgets are always not related to money. Yes, please continue.
Because before the next monsoon starts,
Yes.
this
has to last.
This is our lifeline and we have to survive within that. So we only plant as many saplings that we can support using the budget of water that we have.
What is the basic math? How much water per sapling per
I think
season?
roughly 5 to 10 liters per week to sapling. Now that's very little amount, but that's
Just
what
enough.
we can afford,
Yeah.
just to keep it alive.
Fair enough.
So it's not about feeding, but it's rather making sure the sapling stays alive. So as you can see here, this is basically a form of a degraded land. And when we walk 20 feet in this direction, you will see how this kind of a land has transformed into this space shows the results of our restoration after 5 years. And you will notice the difference in the quality of grass.
Come.
Here versus over
Oh,
here.
yeah, absolutely.
There's a difference in the quality of soil.
So, just
There
for
is-
contrast, this happens when you burn grass year after year after year.
Yes.
Soil degrades, everything flows down, all the microbial soil life, everything gets destroyed. Nature has to do that much extra, invest that much energy in just getting back to the status quo. Whereas, if you
is
simply
where-
fence it and water everything just minimally, you see immediately the quality of grass is gone way, way higher.
The biome, the growth is, although through succession, this grass will also change.
Of course.
But there are close to 2,000 trees which are alive in this patch of land. And originally when we started, people told us, it's impossible to plant a tree in a land like this.
I'm
Impossible.
actually looking at a guava here.
There's
It's
guava,
fruiting.
there is chiku, there is mango, there is cashew.
No,
Now we
it's
have
fruiting.
deliberately put fruit trees here
Mhm.
because the farmers will be attracted to what we are
Yes,
doing.
they'll see some value to it.
On the back side of this plot, we have planted the umber, pimper,
All the natives,
moho, zambur,
ficus,
the real,
keystone species.
I would say the varieties which ecologists recommend.
Keystone, yeah.
Deliberately, we have done fruit tree plantation just to make it attractive
Sure.
for the locals, because
Sure.
they don't see value in those trees. They do
Yes.
see value in these trees.
Yes, yes.
But against the contrary wisdom that trees cannot come up in place as dry and as degraded as this, here is a proof that we've got close to 2,000 trees standing here.
So give me a quick template. What is the size of the pit? What is the mix that goes in? What is the size of the sapling? And what is the maintenance strategy? Very quickly.
See, the very first step is to dig a pond. Make sure that you've created a source of water.
Correct.
Without that, nothing can happen.
Correct.
So first we identify the right spot where that pond can be dug.
Okay.
And then after pond is dug, we wait for the rains to arrive.
So you have a catchment.
And we make test whether the water is going to stop there or not.
Mhm.
Once we assure that the water is going to be held in that pot, that is when we think of plantation.
Okay.
So the summer prior to that monsoon, we dig pits in advance.
Okay.
Approximately, see, we use JCP for digging of the pits,
Okay.
because the land is so hard that it's very difficult to do it manually.
Correct.
Typically, whatever that one
It's
scoop of JCP
Two
can
and
do,
a half feet by 2.5
two and a
feet.
half feet by 2.5 feet, and we sort of lay these pits out every 12 to 15 feet. And then we let that land sit like that for 1 or 2 monsoons. Just rain happen, the pit gets filled, the water gets absorbed. We cut this grass, put it back in that pit, so that becomes the compost.
You're using a brush cutter for that?
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
So it's just chop and drop, you cut it
Chop
and it
and drop
drops
and
there.
put it back in the pit.
ठीक
And you
है,
keep doing it every monsoon season
ठीक है.
after the monsoon.
So
is
you're
over.
adding some organic carbon to it.
Yeah. So the soil formation that you see here,
Hmm.
which is distinct from the neighboring plot,
It happens to chop and drop
and
water.
if you look at the soil which has come here, literally it has descended from heaven. It is the carbon dioxide in the air which has got trapped in combination with water, has turned into biomass, which we have cut and put it back in the pit,
Yes.
which has decomposed and become the soil.
Yes.
So when I tell people where the soil come from, we don't transport it by trucks. It actually descends from the heaven.
Nature does it for
Exactly.
you.
And in few years, you will see a thick layer of soil forming around this land. And you can
Yes.
actually feel it as you walk in this terrain.
Amazing. So, and then while planting, what do you do? What's your process?
So again, the uncompromising principle is don't bring anything from outside.
Okay.
So saplings are prepared here in the local nursery.
Okay.
Plantation is done by the local workforce.
Okay.
Whatever grazing cow population that is here, we buy
Cow dung.
cow dung from them
Okay.
and we put it in those pits. So that starts the organic decomposting process. And we water it every week. That's it.
Where do you see the challenges of this model? What do you see as something that is challenging scaling this to a really significant level? And let's brainstorm on how we can probably try and overcome those challenges or try and find creative ways to overcome these challenges so that someone who's listening, who's seen it so far, what problem statement can we give this person? Because 25% of India's land is a
Large chunk of
is a significant chunk of land.
Right.
And we know that let's be practical. We live in a economically driven society.
Right, right.
And if anyone's just going to hand you a piece of land, they're going to expect something in return. Just for me, the birds and the butterflies and the bees are happy. I am happy, but that's you and me.
Right.
People will want some return. So what is the real challenge and what is the problem statement in front of you right now?
See, first thing we have to understand that the reason we have nature in a degraded state is because of economic growth.
Correct.
So applying the same formula to fix it is not going to work.
Obviously.
Because if you continue to think in the same lines, then you're going to continue to go down the path where you keep extracting nature and keep fueling resources into economic growth. So you have to figure out a way to reverse this process. But at the same time, economic growth is the need of the hour. The message of degrowth and slow down, nobody wants to listen to that.
Exactly.
Right? So what we are attempting to do is, can we turn the whole problem around? Can we fuel economic growth through restoration rather than fueling economic growth through nature extraction?
Very good problem statement. Okay.
So just reverse the whole thing, because if you can fuel economic growth through restoration, then more people would want to do it.
Yes.
Right? Now, question is it possible or not?
Mhm.
And I think that's where I think, this is where we have to put our effort and energy into. It's not obvious how to do it. And hence, I see this as a lab where we are basically trying to explore that angle. Is it possible to fuel economic growth through restoration? And what we have seen, that in the process of this experiment, we have created jobs. And we have created an example where more and more gram panchayats around us want us to go to their area and do the same thing. Now, still there's a puzzle. Where is the money going to come from? And the conclusion that I have reached, that if you attempt to fund the project by selling the produce, it's not going to work. You have to figure out some other creative ways of generating finances, because a degraded land requires significantly higher amount of effort and energy to bring water, to grow the trees, and the yield can never match what you can produce in a fertile land with water and fertilizers and so on. So you are always at a point of disadvantage where investment is higher, yield is less, and expecting to create a viable economic model by selling the yield is not going to work.
Right.
So the approach that we have taken, that let's first not be driven by what we are going to sell to fund the project, but rather do the right thing. The right thing is that we want to restore nature.
Right.
So luckily we have experts like Ketki, Manasi, who have given us a template of what belongs to this region.
Yes.
And that is a template of vegetation that we are trying to bring in here. Now, many of those species do not have direct economic value to humans. Like if I plant a peepal tree, if I plant a banyan tree, it takes up space, but there is no real economic value. So if you see it from economic angle, you'll say, why are you planting peepal? Why are you planting banyan? Instead, plant 5 mango trees. You will get some revenue out of it. And if you go down that path, you will end up creating a mango orchard. You will not create a jungle.
Correct.
If you want to create a jungle, it doesn't have a direct economic value to humans. I mean, it has some partial, but not a whole lot. Now, there are many people out there in the world who believe that this is the right thing to do.
Yes.
They themselves cannot come. They themselves cannot be part of it, but they think this is the right thing and they would like to support it. Now, question is, how can a person who is remote can support an activity like this? So what we have done is we have essentially created this concept that you can be a sponsor of a tree. So you can, plant a tree on some occasion, like birthday. You want to gift somebody a marriage gift. And these days, at least I would say 80% of invitations I am getting these days, there is a line written at the bottom, please do not bring any gifts with you.
Yes.
Because people have enough material and they don't want to stack up.
Exactly.
But you want to convey your gratitude and your kind of token of affection, love for them. How do you do that? We are saying, give them a tree.
This is the best.
Such a beautiful concept.
Absolutely.
Now, tree is something you can physically not carry in your hand to a party and give to somebody. But you can carry a beautiful illustration done by an artist.
It's like a gift card.
It's like a gift card. And that gift card is a gift with a meaning, that it is supporting that tree which is growing in some barren land, which is going to become a space where some bees are going to come, where some birds are going to come, and the nature is going to find its own way to grow. And you are helping that process by gifting that tree to somebody.
Amazing.
So we have essentially supporting this project through crowdfunding. where people are adopting trees, people are gifting trees, they are celebrating their birthdays, their anniversaries, their memorable moments. And once you go down this path, the possibilities are infinite. So I'll give you some examples of grows we have created. We have created a alumni grove. So for example, I am from IIT Kanpur. First I created a faculty grove.
We saw the faculty grove.
Then I reached out to my batchmates. Why shouldn't we create a 1990 graduation grove? Because we all graduated at the same time. And there are shared memories that are, meaningful to people.
Absolutely.
And they love the idea of capturing those memories in the form of a living forest. Now, question: how do you build the trust that the tree is actually there? And that's where technology comes in. So, in my previous tech life, I used to give unique identifiers to every Wi-Fi Mac port.
Oh yeah.
So same idea we are now bringing into the
It's a
tree
MAC
space.
address. It's a
So
MAC
basically,
IP.
we are
Yeah.
giving a MAC address to every tree.
There
a
you
unique
go.
ID. And then when somebody sponsors it, we map their name to that MAC address.
Okay.
And that binding goes into a database.
So it's a register, and
It's
you
a
can
registry that we maintain.
you can make a call, and they can see how their tree is doing.
And so you can see your tree, you can see its pictures. Every year the picture is updated. Now question is, how does the picture get updated? Because there is a human being walking around, clicking pictures and uploading them. Who are those human beings? These are actually the kids of the tribals in this area, who earlier were trying to be, day laborers and jobs. Now they have gone up a level in the services that they provide. They are all carrying Android phones, carrying our app in it, and clicking pictures and uploading to the cloud. And that entire database is the reason why people have faith and believe that that tree is actually real. And we think if we scale it 1,000, 10,000 million times.
This is a beautiful business model.
Exactly. So just restoration of nature.
What's the ticket price of that gift, for example? Like one tree, if you have to gift someone?
2,000 rupees.
And it's like a dinner outside.
You go and have coffee with two of your friends. In
Starbucks, and it's done. Yeah.
Exactly. And for that price, you can bring a tree for a lifetime. You can create so many jobs. You can support restoration of biodiversity and send a message of hope. So it's a model which is clicking. And beauty is that we have absolutely no marketing of the effort that we are doing.
I know.
And it's actually kind of funny. The project grew out of observation of stopping the wildfire. But this idea is now spreading like wildfire.
Well done.
So we stopped one fire but started another one.
Yeah.
And I think we want this fire to grow.
Yes.
Yes.
And spread.
Yeah.
All right. So monetizing it this way is definitely a model.
Yes. Today, people are trying to monetize such projects through carbon credits. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that idea. In fact, at some point, when the market matures, we will collect our share of whatever revenue.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with any large initiative being driven by a single motive, which is maximization of carbon credits. Because once that becomes the objective, you plant those species which grow fast.
Yeah, and
you don't grow a jungle, because there are species like
eucalyptus.
Grow fast. Yes.
Grilicidia. All of Pune's techies are filled of Grilicidia.
So again, if you are driven by a single objective of maximizing something, the nature is a system where there are million different things which are happening.
Yeah.
And we are not able to understand that interconnection and complexity.
Yes.
And hence we are trying to sort of single GDP measure or single carbon credit measure. So instead, yes, we will like to monetize whatever carbon credits that we can accumulate, but that's not the single driver. The way we are conceptualizing and imagining this project, I see forest as a sequestration of our emotions, our memories, because those emotions and memories we are attaching with the trees. So I'm imagining a forest full of these human stories. And once the emotions are attached, people want to preserve that asset. And the beauty is that the value of those memories and emotions is far higher than
Oh,
the
yeah.
value of carbon.
Oh, yeah.
So it's again an innovative idea. And I think once you delve into this space, you go beyond the traditional thinking
Yeah.
and you open a completely uncharted new territory where some amazing things can be done. Down the road, we can even create, virtual forest walks for people who physically can't be here, but they can take a walk through the grove that they've sponsored and actually come close to the birds and butterflies and insects which are sitting on that tree.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get that information in the context that you relate to, you are far more willing to learn and absorb
Yeah.
and appreciate that. So hyper, I would say, personalization of the information and delivery through technology is a space which is nobody even scratched the surface. And that's where I see a tremendous potential
Correct.
of building things
Also,
enormously.
this thing is temporally really long. I mean, you're talking multiple generations enjoying
Yes.
this gift, right? And you never know what how this alumni grandchildren might enjoy this thing that their grandfather started once upon a time. I just recently read a research, and out of all the things that people experience, it's only the stories that remain.
Exactly.
People forget everything else. All the graphs are forgotten, all numbers are forgotten.
Yes.
Only core memories and stories. These are the only two things that prevail. And that is why our entire culture
It's full of
is full of
stories.
stories.
Yes.
It was handed down generation to generation through spoken word. So I think I would put it that we need to create a culture. Now, the next obvious question is key one is personalization. But as a culture, my question always remains, how do we communicate the importance of having a forest? I'll tell this through an example. There's an RA forest in the heart of Bombay,
Yes.
which is like a green lung of Bombay city.
Yes.
Huh? And everyone from the establishment to everyone is hell bent on cutting off those trees and using it for utilities of the city. When I see things like this happen, I clearly see a disconnect between them not understanding what service this little green lung that is somehow magically still surviving is offering to the rest of the city. So, how do we, because it's a slow process, because it's not obvious, because it's not like water flows from point A to point B, you don't see the value of a tree growing around you. But it's slowly but surely giving you oxygen, like fundamental from the breath to water to fruit to security. You look at the color green, emotionally you feel more relaxed. It brings down the temperature. So it's giving so many services. It's a carbon sink, obviously, but people just don't realize the value. Have you had any success in creating some kind of a narrative to communicate this? Because this is high investment.
Yes.
Coming all the way here, let's be honest, in today's Blinkit era where even you don't want to go to the grocery store,
Right.
someone traveling all the way here and experience this, only the initiated will come.
Yes.
But what has worked in your experience?
See, there are two different, I would say, targets, and you have to position it differently to them.
Okay.
You want to convey the value or importance of creating such green spaces. Now, as far as the local community is concerned, you have to link it with their livelihoods. Now, how do you sensitize the urban people? How do you connect them to this thing? And I think Gen Z, I think, are far more aware because the kind of schooling, the kind of exposure, the kind of YouTube that they've seen. At least I've seen that at least among my daughters and their generation.
They're way more sensitive,
But they don't know how to really engage.
But that's also a certain socioeconomic class, right?
Yes. So there, at least the approach that we have tried to do is to appeal to basically create a narrative, create a story which somewhere touches them. So, for example, the name 14 trees. People ask me, where does the name come from? The name we have sort of very carefully chosen because first it invites a question. Why 14 trees?
Correct.
Why not 20?
Let's get into it. I know the story, but get into it.
Why not 10? Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
So the name creates that mystique or that questioning. So I tell them, look, people understand that the climate problem is predominantly due to excess of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And it is happening because of our lifestyles. Excess use of fossil fuel, electricity and everything, right? But we've got so used to that lifestyle, it's very difficult to control it. And somehow people think it is the government's job or it's the UN's job to solve this problem. There's nothing I can do about it. Now, it is true that the problem is of such a scale that very little difference an individual can make. But at a mass level, people need to become more sensitized and aware. So I tell them, look, we are all contributing to this problem. And a very small contribution is coming through our breathing. We are breathing in oxygen, we are breathing out carbon dioxide. So with every breath we take, we are adding something. It's almost like adding a spoon of water in Pacific Ocean.
A drop in the ocean, yeah.
And is insignificant. But if you calculate how much you do in a day, in a year, in your lifetime, so the calculation is, in our lifetime, there is a significant amount of CO2 we breathe out. If we plant 14 trees, then all of that CO2 will get absorbed.
Right.
So at this point, people sort of pause and say, look, yes, I would like to be guilt-free, and 14 trees is something I can do. It's a very doable. And in fact, once you come to the project side, you plant your first tree. So your journey begins. And invariably, we have seen that everyone says, look, utna to kar denge. Okay? So that is a concrete action.
Yeah, it's frictionless almost.
Yeah. And it's a concrete action. It's a beginning of taking. So although in the bigger scheme of things, it doesn't matter. 14 trees are not going to make any difference. But at least you have the satisfaction, I am beginning that journey, I'm doing
participating in this process, right? Yes.
Then people come back to me, I have done my 14, now what do I do next? Then I tell them, calculate your carbon footprint of the flights you're taking and so on. But interesting thing, when that question comes from people, they are far more receptive to looking at solutions.
It's a pull, yeah.
So we are creating a narrative, a story, which invites that question, and then we provide the answer. We are not going out lecturing people at all.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So, and this concept is spreading through word of mouth. And I think we hope that the more people it touches, at somewhere down in their thing, they are beginning to think.
It's visceral, but I can feel it too. So my only remaining sort of thing that we haven't discussed is, we are talking about Maharashtra. We can scale this, chalo, all over Maharashtra, maybe a couple of more states, But if we really have to make a movement out of this, have you thought at that scale, and how do you see this really picking up and scaling up and going places?
Right. See, restoration is very location specific. Every space has a very different flora, fauna,
biome, weather, rain, everything.
So it will be a big mistake if you decide something and try to just mindlessly apply it everywhere. That's absolutely not what we are. But there are certain core principles which are universally applicable.
Let's list a few.
So the first thing is, you restore it to whatever existed at that space before the degradation actually started.
Right.
The second thing is, you do restoration in such a way that you generate economic activity in that area. So often people tell me, if you have to scale, you have to economize, you got to do 10x with the same money. And I said, no. You have to inject enough capital in the local economy so that they feel incentivized to support that activity. You have to link it with the job and economic growth of that region. Once they understand that that economic activity is happening through this project, if they kill the project, their economics will also die. That's when the support will happen. So we are trying to maximize the benefits that you can give to people. You don't dole out money.
I see. Yeah.
You essentially engage in productive activity,
Create interdependence.
and create interdependence. So that is a universal principle that can be applied regardless of the geography you are working.
Absolutely.
Right. And the third thing is, you have to find pool where the finances are going to come from. And those who are going to finance are not going to get anything in return. So why should they finance it? So you somehow link it to their desire to do something good in the world. You link it to their desire to preserve their legacy.
Yes.
Your desire to give something meaningful to other people. That's how you connect their emotions to the project which you are working on. So these are the three key principles that we have arrived at. And I think these, if you apply it everywhere, and actually, interestingly, I have also seen many examples of projects which have failed.
Yes.
And interestingly, I've observed that they miss out on these three core principles.
I see.
If you only focus pure on restoration without worrying about the economy of the local place, it doesn't work. If you only link it to the economy but nobody really caring about it, it doesn't work. Or if you only people care about it but there is no economy, so basically you got to get all the three pillars right. And that's exactly what we have done here. And I think this is the three core principles. If you apply it in any restoration project, I think results will be good.
So I'll tell you a funny story. I'm a permaculturist, okay? And we have the three ethics, okay? And one is earth care, one is people care, and one is fair share, which is economic. So you have the earth, you have the people, and you have the economy. And that's exactly what you're saying. So at the intersection of these three, if you somehow figure out to place your project, I think it goes through.
So it actually goes back to the point I earlier made, that I have never done a course on permaculture. I have not read any literature, but through trial and error, we have arrived at the same formula.
Exactly.
So it's like, I remember during the 10th grade, I had tried to arrive at a solution to Pythagoras' problem.
Really?
Through my own proof. And I succeeded finally. And it was a completely different path than what was in the book. But you arrive at the right answer. So maybe it's just a repeat of that in a different form.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And many observations you sort of find through your trial and error. And once you arrive at those answers, you have a stronger conviction about your method. You know at your gut feel that that is right.
And you see it's right.
Yeah.
You're seeing the trees blossom, you're seeing the birds and bees come in, you're seeing the fruits happen. So when you see it work, you know you have arrived at the right solution. And then you just have to trace back and see what path you took. And that's exactly what you're saying. This is, I'm now wondering why aren't more people doing this, right? Because it's not something that, I think it's just a question of intent and commitment. And not everyone can be an entrepreneur, but a lot of people would like to come on board this movement and this cause. You've created something absolutely wonderful here. If someone wants to be part of this in any way, what are the opportunities? How can they get in touch with you? If there's anything else you'd like to sort of, as a closing note, if there's anything else you'd like to share.
Yeah. So first of all, I do understand that, we had to walk a hard path to get to where we are. And the barriers to doing something are very, very high.
Correct.
But there's a lot of people out there who have really good intent at heart and they actually want to do something. So we actually want to lower the barriers of engagement for them. Essentially, we want to develop 14 Trees into a platform which invites all those like-minded people to come, add value, and essentially replicate this. Not necessarily in the carbon copy form, but their variation.
Some version of it, yeah.
Some version of it. And we are envisioning this as an open source project.
Beautiful.
It's an open book. You come, you copy it, you multiply, replicate as many times, you create its own variants, and let 1,000 flowers bloom. That's the intention that you want to do it. But we have not had time to write it down. Because I'm looking for a volunteer who will say, look, I will give you my 6 months. I will come and stay here, understand and put it into the
चलो
booklet.
पहला काम writers, हाँ.
Writers. I mean, if you are a photographer, if you are a videographer, if you are an artist, if you are an architect, if you know how to cook, if you know how to make great chai, I mean, name anything. You are a software developer. I mean, we need all of those skills.
Yeah.
And we may not be able to compensate everyone at the market rate, right? So those who want to first engage in a volunteering spirit, come help us. You're welcome. And we do understand. So in fact, let me put it this way. I'm targeting Vanaprastha group because they've now earned and now they are at a stage of life where they can, put their time and energy to a cause without expectation of financial returns. So we have many Vanaprastha volunteers working with us.
I see.
And we want to invite more. But we are also targeting the age group of 25 to 45. And these are people at the prime of their career where they could be learning, building their businesses, consulting practice. So if you want to build a business in the area of sustainability,
Yes.
then we can become a platform to help you launch it.
Mhm.
You do some work for us and in return we help you grow your practice, for example. So this kind of symbiotic relationship.
Mhm.
And that's how we want to engage more and more young people into this project as well.
Mhm.
Obviously, don't expect quick returns. Like, many trees take years to grow.
Sure.
Similarly, some of these ideas
But it's
will take
worthwhile.
time.
Yeah, it's worthwhile.
But sustained commitment and faith, I think, is needed to be successful sort of in this area. And our doors are open to invite people in to come engage, add their value and learn in the process and replicate.
Wonderful. I vouch for everyone to come experience this place once. It's pure magic. You will see literally miracles happen. It's a great laboratory to also get your hands dirty.
Yep.
I think even if you're a ecologist, if you're a zoologist, if you're a permaculturist, I'm sure you can give them a little plot somewhere and they can tinker and do their thing, right? So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is at this point a 2,000 acre
playground.
size lab.
There you go.
Where you can come, and hopefully by the time you come, it will be bigger.
So we'll add the contact details in the description.
Yes.
Pravin, all the best. This is, I give more force to you, more energy to you, more power to you. I hope this becomes a lush green forest and we sit here 5-10 years down the line, continue our cup of chai and
Yep.
See wildlife roaming on and about. And I pray I think something like this is going to save us somehow. I don't want to be dark about it, but this is very important. This work is also very important, and aggressively doing this kind of work is also very important because the other side is going very, very aggressively in the opposite direction.
So I'll say two things. One is, hopefully we will have thousands such spaces where we can do this kind of conversation in a few years.
Yes. Yes.
And to be honest, we are doing it because it is fun. I don't think I'm trying to save the earth. It's too big a task.
Yeah.
Doing it just because it is very enjoyable and satisfying and fulfilling, right? And I want more people to experience that.
That's it. It's that simple. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. If you like that video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the bell icon so that you never miss the next episode of The Root Cause.